Okay, let us, first of all, you will just commit this meeting into the hands of the Lord. Thank you, Father. Lord God Almighty, we are here again and again, to seek your face, to search your scriptures, to rub minds and to determine the ways of God. We ask, Lord God Almighty, that you be our inspiration. You will speak expressly to each and every one of us tonight, so that we will have a better understanding of the relationship that you have ordained between a man and a woman. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Although it's only one day that is here, I was even concerned that there would might not be enough women, but I think we already have a quorum of women. I know that more men are coming. I will pose the questions interchangeably. One question will be about women. The question that is about women will be posed to men. Question that is about men will be posed to women. There will always be a chance from a rebuttal from either sex. I was going to save this for Sunday meeting, but since I had said we would have it today, I said, let me just keep my word. So the first question, I'm going to direct it to Olawande Awunuga.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, lovely women in the church.
Yeah, okay. Flattery will get you anywhere. Question number one day, do women nag a lot?
They do. And I have examples in my house. And I've always known it. And for example, my own thought at one time, when we had a discussion about weakness, women's weakness and all that, my own thought was it was their nature. That some women don't necessarily show weakness in strength or anything. When the Bible talks about weaker vessel, my understanding at the initial point was that because of their nature of always being petty, always over-flogging issues, even the strong ones among them, even the faithful ones among them. But their nature is always to just continue to over. And I give my example. I said, when Christ gave that parable of the woman and the judge, I said, why was it a woman that was asking the judge over again? And you corrected me. You said it just means that we should continue to always ask and ask. And the judge got tired of her and gave her what she wanted. But I thought it was because she was a woman, that because she was asking over and over again. It was because of a woman. That's why she was asking and over, because she knows even if she tires this man out of asking, he will be fed up. And they always have their way most of the time, at least most of the time.
Okay, I need a rebuttal from a lady. Put your hand up, otherwise we go to the question for the men. A rebuttal from a lady, does it mean that you agree that women nag a lot? If you so agree, then, please try as much as possible to stop nagging. Yes, let me see.
Well, I think the problem, good evening.
Good evening.
I think the problem is that men's brains, they don't work in the same way that women's brains work.
Obviously, yeah. Go on.
Yeah,
so
I have
you have to say it over and over again for the brain to work.
Yes, yeah.
That's
And
a very lame.
I've tested it.
That's a very lame excuse. Oh, yeah, continue.
I've tested it. I have male friends. I have a son. So they have a way of switching your voice off in their brain, which women don't do or can't do. So you'll be talking to them and you can tell that they cannot hear anything that you are saying to them, even though they're looking you straight in the eye. So, so
you have to say it again and again and again and again until you get tired of it. Wonderful.
It's not nagging.
This is a very interesting excuse.
Okay, so if we get the response we need, then we won't have to repeat ourselves.
Okay, all right. But nagging doesn't necessarily get you the response you want. So my advice is that since you are not contesting the fact that women nag, you are just now giving the reason why they do so. My advice is that the women here should nag less. This question is for the women. Let me call, who is here? Comfort Yandang. Yeah, Comfort.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Very well, thank God.
Comfort, why do men beat their wives?
This is funny.
You find it funny?
Very funny. Because I've been asking myself this same question, and I don't think no matter what a woman does, now she warrant beating. Well, I really do not know, honestly. But I don't know.
You don't know? But I will put the question to another lady that can maybe help us. Abigail.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Abigail. Why do men beat their wives? I asked one man today, he says because men are used to settling matters with their fists, but women settle matters with their lips. Why do men beat their wives?
Honestly, I have no idea. But I think that sometimes probably when the woman nags and nags and nags so much, and the man he can't control it anymore, he just resorts to his fist, which is a very wrong thing to do. That's my only answer for it. But
somebody gave me a strange answer before. He said his old man told him that women want certain things from men. 4 things. He said the first thing is that they want men to kill them. So I asked him, what do you mean by this? I asked him, what is the meaning of this? He said, in a quarrel, the woman will grab the man and say, you will kill me today. You will kill me today. You will kill me today. I said, well, do you accept that proposition?
No, I don't. I totally do not.
Not
every woman.
You don't know situations where the woman will grab a man that is much bigger than she is and say, you will kill me today.
I've seen such situations, but not every woman does that. So women nag and run.
Well, tonight we are obviously going to be generalizing. Whatever we are saying about either sex is not 100%, but it's a general proposition. But let's have a response from the men. Please, a man should raise his hand. Why do men beat their wives? Why do they beat their beloved? Can a man help us? Any man, your answering doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you beat your wife, but you might know the reason. Samukwa, do you know why men beat their wives?
Hello, good evening, church.
Good evening.
I was going to say that that statement that Yemisi made about men just switching off from women, which they find very annoying. I was going to say that the fact that men beat their wives suggests that some men either do not know how to switch off or choose not to switch off. And as a result, everything that the woman says and, attacks him, attacks his ego, attacks his existence, attacks everything about him, and he cannot control himself, just loses it and begins to beat the wife. After a while, that behavior, after repeated incidences of that behavior, he becomes used to it. And before you know what is happening, it becomes his initial response to any.
But Sam, it is not only women that attack men's ego, men also attack women verbally.
Yeah, well, in that situation of men attacking women verbally, I find that the man has, for whatever reason, already developed a preconceived notion about the wife, which is what will likely lead him to verbally attack the wife. But in
you can say the same thing about the woman. She has a preconceived notion about her husband. Yes,
but it is, from what I see, it is more frequent that the woman, whatever her own preconceived notion is, the woman, because, like, it has been said, women's strength is in the mouth. So they are very, very quick to make a verbal attack, which some men don't know how to handle. Like Yemisi said, a lot will just switch off. And in such situations, you are unlikely to find men beating their wives. But where men cannot switch off, you will see that it can result to this wife beating thing.
So are you justifying men beating their wives and laying the blame at the women because they provoke the men?
No. Provocation is not an excuse. You are supposed to learn to control yourself. After all, there are those who just switch off and walk away.
No, because if Mike Tyson comes and abuses me, I will not decide to fight him.
Exactly. Many men.
Because I know he'll beat me up. I'll land up in the hospital.
No, but you see, apart from that, let us even look at it from this point of view. If you knew your wife was a black belt in karate, will you be beating her anyhow? You won't try it. The truth of the matter is that they have looked at the situation and feel that I can beat this woman and she won't be able to.
I'm stronger than she is.
Yes, I'm stronger than she is. So it's actually an act of bullying because you know you are stronger than her. So you take advantage of that. If you are not stronger than her, you probably try to use your own mouth to match her, which you probably fail because they are experts at that one. So since you know that you can't conquer with your mouth, many of them just say, well, I'm stronger than her, I'll just beat her into silence. But if that woman were a martial arts expert, you would think twice before trying it.
Okay, all right. Doctor, please go ahead. What do you have to say?
Yes, sir. If we look at it from a point of culture and then the way everything people the understanding about Nigerian men or African men from their culture, because there's always a belief that like in Yoruba land, they said it is a man that gbe iyawo, he was the one that brought the woman. So the woman must be submissive, which means that the man is all in all. In fact, those days, the women call their husband Oluwami. In Yoruba land, they call their husband Oluwami. So how dare you talk to Oluwami somehow? How dare you raise a voice? So if Oluwami give the wife a hot slap, the wife must not open her mouth. That's why most of these things is as a result of the culture, wrong thing from the ground. So most especially, that's why sometimes if a woman should leave her husband and go to her family, they will send her back. Well, they will say it's an abomination for you to leave your husband's house, even if the man has to beat the hell out of you. You have to go back. That is the, and it's very difficult. And even in that, it now got to a level that the church has even borrowed it. The church has borrowed it. They will use a scripture to back it up somehow. The woman must submissive. They won't look at the other part that what the Bible also say about the man. They won't look at it from that point. They will look at it about it's a man. It's a man. In fact, some people I spoke with some people that they said that from the beginning, it was Adam God called first. So when God called Adam, is the weaker part of Adam was Eve. So Eve was supposed to be submissive. So, and when they started putting all those, adding two plus three together, it has, and the moment a woman raised her voice against a man, immediately the man will just start abusing the woman, especially if it is a man that does not cannot really control his anger, cannot really control his anger. A lot of men, what they do is sometimes they will leave the house for the woman and go out, in order not to get to that. If they know that they cannot stand with the woman when it comes to verbal abuse or whatever, they will go out of the house in order for the whole thing to calm down and come in. That's just all what right. I have to say, sir.
In the United States, if you beat your wife, you beat a woman, you go to jail. Femi Aribisala, you wanted to say something?
I think Mr. Okwa has sort of
addressed it.
Yeah, because I was just thinking of what a friend told me, where he said that women have a way of knowing what your
weak point is.
Yeah, we're more intuitive, so we know where to hit. So a guy will also not hit a man in certain, usually not hit a man in certain places, will not address certain things, will not maybe say something about his mom, or so.
Why is it that if you say something about the woman's mom, she won't fight you, but if you say about the man's mom, trouble don't start.
Yeah, but also men are, there's this whole thing about men and respect, where
we're going to come to that. We're going to come to that.
Yeah, so women just look for the weak, for that, press their buttons where they know they're going to lose their mind and get really furious.
So they want to be beaten up.
I know some women who want to be beaten up, because if the guy beats them, then they now they record it. So whenever they want something, they bring it up and say, remember you beat me last month too. So the guy will now give them money. I remember you beat me last month. You give them, so they use it as currency.
To blackmail.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Prince of Israel. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Prince of Israel and Nigeria, I suppose. Are women quarrelsome?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Are women quarrelsome?
Most women. Most
women are quarrelsome.
Yes.
Why do you say that? More than men?
More than men, yes. For
Your voice is breaking, or you need
one
to
of the
adjust.
things
Yeah.
yeah, it's over and over, and that could. I'm on the road, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I said when you repeat things over and over, sometimes
Let me get back to you when you are in a stable situation, because we can't hear what you're saying. Let me get back to you, Prince.
stirs up quarrel because and the man has heard you, and someone will give them. The reply could be, "I've heard you." Okay, sir. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Let me pose the same question to. Let me look for another man. Martin's Healing.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Martins. Are women
Yes.
quarrelsome?
Yes, I agree with with Prince that a lot of women are quarrelsome. In fact, they are more quarrelsome than men are.
But why are they quarrelsome? They just like to quarrel. What is that?
They like to make mountains out of out of molehills. You know, an issue that a man will easily just ignore. A woman will want to keep insisting. She wants to get more information. She wants to know why you did this, and it seems as if there is no explanation that a man will provide that will satisfy a woman. And so that often is the reason if a man doesn't give them the answer that they want, then it becomes some sort of a nagging issue. And yeah.
Can I get a response from a lady to Martins? I don't see a hand up. I will call somebody. Chuchu, are you with us?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, church.
Yes, good evening. Martin says women are quarrelsome. Do you agree with him?
I agree.
Eh?
Well,
You agree?
yeah, so I agree, but I won't say it's in general, but yeah, more than not. I don't know if I would call it, they just like being
why are women quarrelsome?
or I really can't tell you why. Because even me too, I'm baffled at the idea. But I know women are quarrelsome. I experienced one firsthand today at the bank, and I was really irritated. And I'm like, why are women like this? And the worst part was she used that line that it's because you're a woman, and if it was a man, you would allow me. And I was pissed off, like, oh my God, why are women like this, for God's sake?
But you are not like that, are you?
Me, I don't have time.
You are
If
not
you match
quarrelsome.
my leg, I will
Are
tell
you
you
sure you
sorry.
are not? Are you sure you are not quarrelsome?
No. For me to quarrel with you, you must have really, really, really pushed me. Like extremely pushed me. But most times I just ignore. I keep quiet, I just look away. Because I'm not interested. I do have strength, so I don't even want anything that will give me too much headache. No.
Okay, let me pose the next question to you, which is about men. Do men feel threatened by an independent woman?
I feel there is this notion that it's a man's job, so the man should always be in charge. The man should always be the one providing and doing things. But the culture is shifting, things are changing, and more women are standing up and trying to do things and be independent. And I think it's a problem. I don't think a lot of men would, I don't think it will go well with a lot of men. Yeah.
So it will cause problem in a marriage if the woman is independent. Men would prefer their wives to be dependent rather than independent.
I think so. I think for most. I think it's also, if I want to look at it from maybe culture or whatever, because they've been groomed that way that the women are not supposed to work, women are supposed to take care of the home and things like that. So having those kinds of grooming and mentality, it has made a lot of men fit into that school of thought that yes, they have to be the ones.
Okay, thank you. Festus, do you agree that men feel threatened by independent women? Mr. Dekera.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear my question?
Yes, I heard you.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, why?
Yeah, I feel that most of the men they just feel within them that as far as the woman can be able to take care of some things by herself, they feel that she will be a threat to the relationship.
So what does it mean? So that if the woman is actually independent, in order to promote her relationship, she has to pretend that, you know, she can't do certain things and stuff so that the man will come and be a man, sort of. Is that what it means? I'm still with you first also. You'll run away.
Hello, sir.
Does it mean the woman has to pretend to not to be able to do certain things so that the man would now say, yes, I can handle it. Let me come and do it.
Yes, so really, you know, when I was with my uncle and we were just asking him that, Oga, get married. Those are the things that, you know, he will give you reasons why. Say the woman is comfortable, you know, she has a car. She come now, she will start ordering him from one place to another. At least he's comfortable, he has money on her own. He's looking for someone that will totally depend on him so that he can control. Yeah. So some people, that is what they want. They feel that the woman will have control over their affairs. So they want someone that they can be able to control.
Thank you. One day.
Yes, sir. I think a good thing to do in such a situation is to both understand your strengths and your weaknesses. Because in every relationship, whether you like it or not, a woman would have advantage, whether she's stronger or she earns more or whatever. There'll be some advantage she has as a strength in the home, even if the man is dominant and is the one that is the macho. For example, in my own family, my wife is the boss in the home setting.
The boss in what sense? In what sense?
What I mean by that, the home is a department.
How does she exercise this boss?
What happens is, because I've done that, she gives me that respect to ask me things, and she knows because I give her that department. So she knows where her strength is, and she covers the home end very well in that way.
Give me an example of how she exercises. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll give you an example.
Hold on. Give me an example of how she displays this bossiness in the home.
No, don't use that word. Don't put
You are the one that, are you not the one that she's the boss?
I gave her a department.
Okay, you are the one who used the word boss.
Yeah,
I'm not the one.
Yeah. Or maybe I should have said head of department. Maybe I would have said head of department.
Okay, all right.
head of that home department.
Give me the example of how she heads the home department.
Okay, for example, for me growing up, I was weak at finances, at saving. I made a lot of money with my music and everything, but I was weak. But she has studied that part up well. Although I make most of what comes in, but she is the one that is the banker. She's the one that was I gave her, when we first got married, I'll bring the check home. And God gave her that wisdom. She would help mark out, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, and she will pay them. And she said, what do you want to save? And I'll tell her this, and I'll go and save it. And that saved the marriage in the first few years. I'll just give you one example. That's in terms of finance. I'll bring the check home and she'll do all that. Other ways is that there's no necessarily a man's role or a woman's role. I cook in the house. I wash plates. It doesn't mean I'm a less of a man. She irons clothes. She can change the tire. I'm just giving examples. So there's no man's role, there's no woman's role. We have come to understand that she has some strengths. It's not as if I leave those strengths for her alone, but I allow her to exercise those strengths and cover for my own weaknesses. And she also knows my strengths, which could be even what is categorized as a woman's role that I play. And somehow, when my wife is not easy to compliment. She doesn't easily compliment. But when I pray for her or we are having an anniversary or anything, she always says something like, thank you for keeping the peace in the home. And I say, so you understand that this is happening. She won't, on a normal day, she won't say it out. But when she's praying, or we're praying at night, because we all pray at night, every night with our son in the room, and she will say, thank God for Dada for keeping the peace in the home. And that has helped us.
Wendy, thank you for that one. Thank you for that. Let me go to Dotun. Dotun, this question is about women. Women, I mean, you know, Wendy says that his wife is the financial secretary of the home. Are women spendthrifts? I hope that's not too much grammar. Are women big spenders? Yeah?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that they can be better manager sometimes. You know, they can be better manager in the sense that if I use mine as an example, what we do in my own house is that a lot of the time when whatever we have to do, we sit down and agree together. In fact, decisions are taken together. We want to buy one plate, one this, one that. We look at what we have. We take decisions together. In fact, if I like a testimony I have 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line, when the finances were somehow, we decided and sit down together and say, come, this is how we're going to do. We take it day by day. Whatever we have, okay, let's eat today. The following day, whatever God give us.
Yes, but don't limit your answer. Don't limit your answer to your experience, because your experience might not be a general rule.
Okay, yes, you are right.
My question is a general. Yeah, go on.
Okay. Let me generalize it. So a lot of the home that I see is that most men doesn't really like that. You know, they don't really like. In fact, most men doesn't like to open up their finances, because if they open it up, it look as if all their, so what is it that the man has more than the woman, especially if it's an ambitious woman that works very hard too, that brings money, that does, and if it's like that, creates problems. And also when men doesn't want to really appreciate the effort of the woman, or they see that the woman is doing a little better than
the question is about women, not about men. You have this tendency not to address, to lose sight of the question that you are asked. The question is, are women spendthrifts? You are talking about men.
Well, some women are extravagant, they spend, some women are like that. Why some women are not like that? But if I look at, if I have to look at it generally, I will say that those ones that are better manager are more than the one that spent extravagant. That's just the way I
so you don't find that women spend more than men?
No, I don't believe. I believe that men spend more than women, which they might not disclose.
Do you buy lipstick? You buy
No,
nail varnish? You buy nail varnish?
No,
you
not at all.
You go to the hairdresser?
Not at all. But
you do Brazilian?
I don't. These are what we know. We know about women. We know all these about.
You said men spend more than women. That's why.
Yes, I believe so. I believe so.
What do men spend the money on?
That is the problem. We don't know a lot of it, and they won't disclose it. That is and nobody question them. But the man can question, why is you doing the hair? The hair you are doing is too expensive. Nobody can question the man. So that's why I feel that women, even at those ones that we are looking at, they will still manage it to a level that it will not really affect anything.
Miss Yadang.
Yes, sir.
Are women spendthrifts? Are women big spenders?
I don't think, not all women, basically.
No, there is no question that I'm going to ask you today. I will reply. I will apply to all men or all women. So that really does not address the issue.
Okay, yes, we spend. Yes.
Do women spend more than men? Are they better at handling finances than men, or worse?
I think they are better.
Why? Why do you think they're better?
So in as much as a woman likes buying things, you want to get things, at the back of her mind, she's still calculating, doing the cost analysis and all of that. But for a man, most of the items are even way expensive than some of the things that we women want to buy for ourselves.
What are the things that the men buy? So
for example, a man's wristwatch now can buy like 3-4 of my clothes. Do you get things like that?
But women don't wear wristwatches.
So their wristwatches are not as expensive. So it depends, basically, yes.
What about jewelry and bangles and earrings?
Yeah. There are some that are not even as expensive as just one wristwatch, doctor.
Women wear wristwatches. Wristwatches is not a male item that is exclusive to men. Both male and female.
This is not all men.
Are men's wristwatches more expensive than women's wristwatches? Are men's wristwatches more expensive than women's wristwatches?
See now, the wristwatches, they are all the same. Doctor, basically it depends on the individual, basically.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do men spend most of the money they earn on themselves?
No. And when I say men, I'm looking at like the men that me I know. Right. So from that, that's when
They
the
spend
basis
most
of
of
my
their
answers
money
are coming from.
they spend most of their money on who?
Their family. Mm.
You've noticed that this is the general tendency with men.
That's why I said I'll talk about their experience, like the men around me. This is what I've
They
noticed.
spend most of their money on their families. That's good if
Family, yes.
if it is true. Let me ask another lady to see whether they would agree. Abigail.
Yes, doctor.
Do men spend most of their money on their family?
Most men do, but men, I've known some men to spend.
Most men spend it on their family.
More on them than they do.
That's good then. That's if you know what.
Yeah.
If they buy a stereo,
most men spend on their family. Sorry.
I'm just thinking, you know, the expensive things that men buy that women don't buy.
Say that again.
A man might buy a stereo. Women are not. They are not as much in that department. A man might buy some big car. Women are quite satisfied with small cars, if at all.
Yes. But that's why I said most men that I know, you know, spend in buying the big car and the stereo or whatever, he's thinking of a family setting for most men. But I know of a few men who would think of themselves first. They'll think of their own shirts, their own clothes, their own food before any other person. But in general, I think men
spend more money on their
more.
family. Okay,
Yes.
All right. Okay, Ikpalibo Lawson. Ikpalibo Lawson, are you here? Let me go to Samukwa instead. Stephen, this is too long now. Let me go to Sam, please.
Did you call me?
Did I call you? Are you with us or are you not? This happens every time.
Where I am is noisy, sir, and I'll withdraw, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. Sam.
Yes, sir.
Are women inclined to convert a significant portion of the chop money into pocket money?
Yeah, I cannot, because I find has to depend on the relationship between the man and the woman. But
no, he won't tell the husband now.
Yeah.
Why would she tell the husband that I'm using part of the chop money for pocket money?
Yes, they won't tell, you know. But I believe that it does. I believe it happens sometimes. Maybe she might have a need that she wants to get and feels that in the circumstances with the financial situation, if she decides to ask you for whatever it is she wants, if she thinks that it might not be forthcoming at that time, then it could be possible that she might try to manage the finances you give her for housekeeping to, you know, to be able to put a little aside each time to gather up to face whatever it is she wants.
Is she inclined to put some money aside as savings just in case for an emergency that, because she's not sure what this man is going to do?
I'm doubtful as to that. It is more. I see it more likely as if at all she's putting money aside. I see it as putting money aside, maybe to cater for some needs that she has. But if she's putting aside any money for emergency because she doesn't know where the relationship is going, then that would mean that, number one, there's a problem with the relationship, serious problem with the relationship.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Sometimes the mother will tell her daughter that, look, you have to be wise. Because you don't know, men, you don't know what will happen in the future. So you put in something a little bit on the side for yourself.
Oh yeah, well, I've heard about things like that. So I know that some mothers get to influence their daughters negatively in such respects, and some daughters may follow the advice of their moms. However, I don't see it as something that is like normal or taken for granted that is what she will do. Like I said, I'd want to believe that it depends largely on the relationship between the woman and the man to determine what kind of decisions she takes when it concerns handling housekeeping funds.
Okay, Yamisi, what is your view on this matter? Do women put, sort of shave off a little part of the housekeeping money for a rainy day for themselves?
I don't think they do it enough. I think they actually need to do it more.
Why do you say that?
Because I've seen too many women holding the short end of the stick, and women's labor it's still not monetized. So you would find a woman who maybe agrees with a man to give up her career to take care of 3-4 children. So she's in the house and she's depending on the man to give her money. And she's spending everything on the house. And women have that way of just honing in, and they're buying food, they're buying clothes, and they're not really thinking about, is anything going to happen? Then you find, especially in Nigeria, the guy decides, oh, I want to marry a younger woman. I was going to say, when the people were saying, men spend most of their money on their families. I don't know these men. Many of the men I know don't. So, and this man is able to throw this woman out without any support. So.
Yeah, but then if they get divorced, he will have to divide up his assets.
In Nigeria.
Even in Nigeria.
It doesn't
happen in Nigeria?
Nah.
The court doesn't rule alimony in Nigeria?
Really? Are
you sure about that? No alimony payments in Nigeria.
For you to even be able to hire a lawyer, you need money. So, I don't think that it works. It's not seamless. Women just.
You can hire a lawyer in Nigeria for 200,000 naira.
Yeah, but a lot of women don't have 200,000 naira.
A lot of women have 200,000 naira.
Well, perhaps that's what they're shaving the money for.
Okay. Should a married man still have a night out with the boys?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I actually think people should try and keep their friends, but it depends on what they're doing when they go on their nights out. If they're going, if
they're going to the nightclub to drink and
I don't know about that. Oh. What about I mean, I don't know. I just think that if you go to those kinds of places, then you know, all kinds of things will happen. It depends on your friends as well. Are your friends Christians?
The concept of Christian is completely who is a Christian?
Yeah, but then it would depend.
Robbers are Christians.
No.
Armed robbers are Christians.
Because if you're going to nightclubs, you're picking women up, you're drinking until you know.
No, you might not pick any woman up in a nightclub.
So what do you do?
I go there to drink and to dance.
Dance with who?
Dance with whoever. Does that presume anything?
You go to a nightclub.
If you dance with somebody, I don't know. I mean, I don't go to nightclubs, so I don't know. I mean, you know.
Yeah, no, you can't just go to a nightclub and go and dance with somebody.
Why not?
No. Because a woman can't just go to a nightclub and go and dance.
No, I'm talking about women go to nightclubs.
To go and dance with strange men. That's what I'm saying. Different if you and your husband or you and your wife go to
a woman goes to a nightclub with another woman, okay, with her friends, and when they get there, they dance with men.
No. Like how?
What do you mean, like how? You know, women, they might start, the women might start off dancing with themselves. Women dance with women. But then a man then comes and dances with them. I beg your pardon?
You're married. So you're a married woman, you go to a nightclub.
You are the one who introduced married women. I'm talking about the married man. I'm not talking of married women.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying women go to nightclubs, which was what you contested to start with. I said they go to nightclubs with other women.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, if you're a man and you're married and you go to a nightclub and you go there and you dance with women who are, these women are not your wife,
yes,
or your wife's, I don't know.
You think something is wrong with me?
Definitely.
You say, I don't know.
Definitely. I mean, okay. I don't think it's appropriate, but I don't know.
Okay, let me see if a man can help us. Prince Israel, can you help us? Should a married man go on a night out with friends and then go to a nightclub to dance and drink?
No, I don't think it should.
Why not?
I don't think it's just proper, Sha. I don't think it's proper for a man to do that.
There must be a reason now. You don't know the reason. If something is not
I
proper,
just think it's not decent for a married man.
We are still expressing things without telling why it is not decent, why it is not proper.
Well, anything can happen, you know. Emotions can go beyond control and the rest of that. And
because you are dancing with somebody.
Of course.
Wonderful.
Are you talking about just Oyibo kind of dance where you hold your hands, you just turn around and everybody just go their separate ways and come back? And
which kind of dance is there again?
The Nigeria kind of twerking that they do. You cannot do it, married man, and say you are believing God that you go back only the way you came.
Okay, all right. Twerking did not start from Nigeria. It came from abroad. Yes, Dotun.
Yeah, when you are talking about this dancing thing, when Prince was talking, he said men go to club. In fact, sometimes they organize meeting. The man will tell his wife that they want to have some meetings with their co-worker or whatever, on the end of the year party, whatever. They ought to go to that place, and all of them are there with men, staff, whatever. They are there having a meeting. After a meeting, they drink some bottles. After some bottles, then they do little get together, dance, and go back home. Just to say that they actually go out, you know. But the fact of the matter is that everything depends on individual. Everything depends on individual. As the kind of people you associate with, the kind of friends, even when it comes to co-worker, you know, it still starts from there. The kind of people you associate with, the kind of person you are, determines what you will do. Even if you go to a nightclub, you go to a club for a meeting, blah, blah, we get into a particular level that does not go along with your faith. You carry your bag and go back home. If there's a meeting, you had a meeting, after the meeting, a lot of the time, I remember when I first come to where I stay, I met some people that are our neighbor here. Somebody just came back and said they have some party in the village. They just came back and he was happy. He want to get some people to get together, that is inviting me to be among all of them. I said, well, I don't know if I'll be available. He said, I know. I said, I'm very tired. Whenever I come back from work, I want to rest in my house. Then the day came when all of them sit down. He now came and started knocking my door. He knocked my door when I came. He said, all of them are there. They are expecting me to come. I said, as I am, I'm very, very tired. That's not one. Then two, I don't do all this hangout. I can't come there and sit down and be looking at you faces. I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink. So when I come there, what will I be doing? He said they will talk and talk. I said, okay, I'm coming. He left. I didn't go. I slept. The following day, when he asked me, I said, well, I'm tired. I slept off. You understand? So there's all kinds of things that it might not be nightclub. It might just be around your house or somewhere, some friends. You know, everything still depends on individual. How do we express our faith? How do we manage? Who are the people we talk to? What do we say? All those things is what determines most of these things.
Okay, Dotun, thank you.
Yes,
Barnabas.
Yes, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Do women cry a lot?
Yeah, some. I don't know if I can generalize what.
You can generalize. Do women cry a lot?
Yeah, I think women cry a lot. Though there are some that.
The cry that they cry, is it genuine? Or they can easily manufacture the tears?
Doctor, I think it's 50-50. I think there are a lot of women whose tears are genuine. At the same time, there are also a lot of women who just do that, just try to get their way. And so I would just say it's 50-50.
Because men don't really cry.
Well, men do cry, except that most men want to. We don't want to do it publicly, so they want to, or rather, men want to show that they're strong. They don't want to. I don't know if embarrass is the right word. They don't want to be embarrassed, so they will not want to do it in public.
Okay, Barnabas. Thank you. Chuchu, do women cry a lot?
I think they do.
And is
I think
it witchcraft?
It is totally witchcraft.
Please expatiate on this.
They just okay. So it is more than not, Jerry. They just like to be crybabies, and not just crybabies for the sake of like real. They do it to have their way. It's just pettiness and all of that. They do.
So let me ask you this. Are men fundamentally stupid? Can they be easily manipulated by women?
Some. Like I told you, a lady said to me today, if it was a man, he would have allowed me. So I feel
allowed you to do what?
To jump the line. I was at the bank, and the lady just came out of nowhere, and she wanted to jump the line, and I said she should wait in line, and she said if it was a man, he would have allowed me, and I was like, what's your problem?
Do women give men chance when they are driving?
Women are bad drivers.
You're the one saying this. Oh.
I'm the one saying this.
Bad drivers in what sense?
Women would rather you give them the chance than give others the chance when it comes to driving.
Why is that?
I don't know. They're always in a hurry. They're always rushing somewhere.
Thank you, Chuchu.
And they feel maybe the men have more the upper hand when it comes to driving, the expertise. So they try to just be pig-headed when they're there, and they just don't want anybody to get in front of them.
One day.
Sir.
Oi.
Chuchu, you haven't finished?
Oh, no, I finished.
Okay. One day, are men fundamentally stupid that they can easily be manipulated by women?
I won't say they are stupid. Sometimes men
are they gullible?
Well, they allow themselves to be. Because sometimes, like Chuchu said, the women want to be manipulative and everything. Sometimes the man knows what is being set up for, but he still allows it.
Why?
Just the being a gentleman part.
Is that not stupidity?
He allows himself to be stupid. He allows it. He allows it. That's why he's called a gentleman. And that's why they use that phrase. Why don't you be a gentleman? You know, and they
One day, do women cause men to sin by the way they dress?
No, that's let me talk for myself. For a long time, I tried to keep myself, even before marriage and all that. I tried to be chaste, if I can use the word, and everything. But I know that at some point in time in my life, as a man, I've looked back at times and looked at that that little skirt and looked back. What that means is I've taken a second look. But right now, I don't think I can ever be deceived again. So I think if you allow yourself to, otherwise you can tame yourself. But for every man, I tell you, there's some temptation. Now that's why Christ said, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So they do. But every man shouldn't give that as an excuse. You have to be able to tame yourself and have self-control.
Abigail, do you accept this? Do you agree with one day?
Hello, doctor.
Yes.
Sorry, I was busy doing something. What was one day's opinion?
Okay, the question is this: do women cause men to sin by the way they dress?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, they do. They do, and sometimes it's deliberate.
Okay, I was just going to ask, is it deliberate?
Yes, oftentimes it's deliberate.
So are men basically stupid?
I wouldn't say that they're stupid, but it's just something about their nature that gravitates towards the female, because women being women, always wanting attention, things like that, would dress seductively to get the attention of a man. Most women, I'm not saying that of all women.
Abigail, why do men divorce? Why do men divorce their wives and then marry younger wives? Did you hear my question?
Oh, reasons for that.
Pardon?
I heard you.
Okay. You don't know the reason for it?
Question. I think that, sometimes men, as they're growing along, going up, they're seeing other women, dressed in certain ways that they find appealing, that she doesn't talk like that or things like that.
But women don't divorce their husbands
and
marry younger men.
That is happening now, sir. Maybe in the past it wasn't happening, but now it's happening. These days it's beginning to happen.
Sam Mukwa. Thank you, Abigail. Sam.
Thank you.
Yes.
Why do men go up with a woman and then marry? Maybe when he was studying to be a doctor, it was the woman that was working and providing the money for the school fees. And then when he becomes a surgeon, he divorces her, marries a younger woman.
I must say that I don't have the foggiest idea. The truth is that different people marry for different reasons. So it depends on the reason why the person got married. It could have been that he saw the lady who saw him through medical school. He could have seen her as his opportunity to attend medical school, but not necessarily as his life companion. There are some people who are happy to date different women, but when it's time to get married, they just go and pick somebody else completely. So it depends on what they are looking for when they are doing these things. I don't know, So that would largely determine what kind of scenarios exist with some men, But from my point of view, why start something you can't finish? And in the case of the one who probably might have felt that, one, this lady might be my ticket to getting my my educational or business goals, because sometimes a man will submit himself to marry a woman from a rich family because he knows he can take advantage of the wealth of the family to build himself and set himself up. And by the time he has done that, he doesn't feel any qualms to just, break the arrangement and go and pick somebody else that he really likes, which means his heart was not really in that relationship. It was not companionship. He had his own business agenda. So it depends on what people get married for.
Thank you, Sam. Benedict.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Church.
Good evening. Do wives disrespect their husbands?
Not all wives, but most of them.
Most of them disrespect their husbands. Why do they do that?
Some take advantage of the men. But if the man is not, if he starts that does not talk much, or I just allow the wife to have his way all the time, he will take advantage.
I don't understand this taking advantage.
If you're a man now, your husband that you, because of the marriage, you don't want the issue of divorce, or you don't want the issue of breaks down home, you now decide to be the stupid one or the foolish one. The woman, if you have a stubborn woman, a woman does not respect that arrangement, you will take advantage of it. Or sometimes if you cannot provide for your home as a man, that will bring down disrespect also. But if the woman is not grounded in the word of God, he will disrespect you, he will tell you kind of thing that but you regret minor.
Comfort.
I'm done.
Yes, sir.
Do husbands disrespect their wives?
Some do.
How does that answer my question now?
Is that do husbands? Some husbands, they do disrespect their wives. Like, for example, you are asking about why the man hit a lady. So in case of marriage, if a husband disrespects his wife, that's why he would do that. So yes, some men do that.
This sum is what percentage? Some men do anything, so you're not really contributing to this discussion at all. I mean, do men drink alcohol? Some men do. How does that educate anybody? You have not given any reason why. You say some do. Some will always do anything.
Yeah. Okay, so again, from what I've observed, I've seen, maybe around me, the men around me, they don't disrespect their wives. If that will help, yes.
Okay, thank you. It doesn't help at all, but anyway, thank you. I can't go with that, Okay, Martins, are women easily offended?
No, I don't think so. I feel that on the contrary, women are very, very patient.
Relative to men?
Of the nonsense our men throw at them.
They are more patient than the men?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
And from from much of what we have been discussing in this meeting, there's a trend that I see, which is that women are highly disadvantaged in society. For instance, why would a man decide that he can go to a nightclub and hang out with his friends at night, but then he will not allow his wife to do that?
If the wife does it, she's in trouble, though.
Yes. So there's just an imbalance, and so the women have to find a way in order for them to be able to survive in society and in marriages. Patience is just that virtue that they have to cultivate and hold. Contrary to what the one day was talking about his wife, that his wife was giving him credit for being the one that is keeping the peace. A lot of women just have to make sure that they are keeping the peace in relationships. So that's why they just have to take a lot of the heat that men throw. Yeah.
Yeah, me see. There are a few women here, so we have to. The questions go more to the women, and comfort is not helping us that much. Yeah, me see.
Yes, sir.
Do husbands bully their wives?
It's very generalized, the question. I even find
all the
that
questions are generalized.
bully is I don't know if the word is when you say bully, what do you mean?
To harass, to threaten, to provoke.
Harass, threaten, provoke.
One had that look. If this happens again, I
think I would rather use the word control. I think at least that one I know for sure, that I know that men, even the nicest of men, I see that they want to be seen to be in control. And so maybe that's...
Hold on, Yabisi. You don't think women want to control their husbands? Or that they try to control their husbands?
I think, come. I think they're more, I think more men want to control, as in really control their wives, than women. I think women manipulate men, but men...
Is that not control?
Maybe also the success rate is what we should use.
The concept of the matriarch is not as emphasized as the patriarch. Women want to be a matriarch of a family.
Women?
Yes.
But again, the women that become matriarchs, they do it late in life. But you will find that a man can control his wife. I mean, our neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Carter. Mr. Carter died and left his Jaguar. But he's been married to Mrs. Carter for like 50 years and he controlled her for that 50 years. As in, we never saw this woman. She was like inside the house. Immediately that guy died, Mrs. Carter started living her life.
Which nationality? Because some of this that might be cultural.
They're Jews. They're Jewish, Jewish couple, old Jewish couple.
That might be cultural.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That again, because he had the money, so he was in control. So whatever manipulation she was manipulating him did not equate to the amount of control he had over her.
The fact that a man has the money doesn't mean that he's in control.
He's in control, yeah.
No, doesn't mean. You can have the money and still be controlled by your wife.
Yeah, that's true.
You can spend the money for you very well.
But think about it, because I wrote a piece on all these things that women use on men, Bele Kokomiyo, Kopmomi, Botemi. You've heard about all those.
What are all those ones?
All those things that women use on men.
Are they pet names that
Bele Kokomiyo. No, it's love potion now. In different.
Okay. I've never heard of them.
And you rarely hear about, it going the other way. Usually those things are fashioned for men. So, I mean, I think that suggests that you actually have to go that extra mile to control men. You have to go and collect something from outside.
Or that women want to control the men. Not necessarily that you want to go extra mile, but that they want to. That's why they go and get Bele Kokomi or whatever you call it.
You know what Bele Kokomi means?
I don't know.
It means the chicken must eat corn by force. Oh God.
Okay, all right. Festus.
Yes, sir.
Do mothers spoil children?
Yes.
Yes, it's not an answer.
There is some that because of the special attention they pay to them, they grow up with that same special attention, so they want it to be continuous. So they want anybody they have, and even though when they get married, they want that special attention to be there. That would become a problem for them.
But men don't spoil children.
It's the same thing. It's vice versa. Men too has their own, and they also place that special attention to some of the children, and throughout. So those ones too, they feel that they have to be treated that same way. So if not treated up to that expectation, that shows that he doesn't love them. So it becomes then also a problem, because they have that mindset that they should be treated that way.
True.
Hello?
Chuchu, are you here?
Yes, I am. Yes, sir.
Do mothers spoil their children?
Mothers. I think fathers spoil the children more, but I don't know. It's just me, probably. I don't. But I think it's fathers who spoil the children, not mothers.
Why do you say that?
Because
is it not the father that the mother will say, when daddy comes, and when daddy comes, you report him to her to daddy, and daddy will bring the kid.
even if daddy brings the cane, when daddy brings the chocolate, it's more than the cane. So it will make up for the cane 10 times over. So I think the pressure is more on the women. So mothers don't really, maybe when they grow up, but when it comes to children, they don't really want to take that kind of those chances. So they put so much pressure and they check and check. No, it's fathers who spoil the children.
It is fathers who spoil the children.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Are women gold diggers?
I don't think so. If they were, we won't be in this world where they're saying everything is a man's world and women would not be subdued and whatnot.
What I mean by gold digger is that women are they not looking for a rich man to get married to?
No, I don't. I don't necessarily think so.
You don't think that women use men to supplement their income?
I don't think so.
Expect the man to buy things for them, to pay their school fees, to pay their rent, to when you go to the restaurant, the man is the one that will make the payment.
I don't know about this one. I'll pass.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Let me ask one day, are women gold diggers?
Yeah, I in some cases, now you say it won't help if I just tell you in some cases, but I'll give an example. I've known repeatedly in a generation and the next generation and the third generation, the women were trained to marry married men, to marry a comfortable and married man. And in the first generation, would divorce him and marry another married man that was very comfortable and wealthy. And the second generation, this is an example I know very well. They were my neighbors. In the second generation, dated the married men, and for a long time, she and her sister also got married to married men and had other children. And then those were the men they were milking and sending the children abroad. And then this third generation that I'm knowing that is growing is doing the same. So I think in certain cases, yes. And it might be out of wanting security. So I don't know whether that counts for gold diggers. Out of wanting security, these women and all these generations I'm talking about were very hardworking. They were not lazy, but they wanted security from their other half. So they wanted the established who would take care of them. And if you ever talked of somebody who was young, also hardworking, who has a future, they would never see reason with you. But they were hardworking themselves, but they always wanted ready-made men who had been married, who was established, and who would have an inheritance for the children.
If a man is very rich, will he have problems finding a wife?
I think so.
He will have problems.
Yes, he will.
What kind of problems?
All these movies, the Murphy trying to find out the right woman who will love him. There's this assumption. There's so many films in Nigeria now where men masquerade and try to not to show their wealth to find out the right woman. I think that's the vogue now. If you have money, you're right. You're not sure who loves you for you. You are not sure who loves you for you.
That's very sad. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Prince. Sometimes I see you, sometimes you disappear, sometimes I see you again. Prince Israel, are you here? Doesn't look like he is. Barnabas.
Sorry, my network is fluctuating.
Okay, all right.
Hello.
Then we might not enjoy, we might not hear what you say. So it's fine. Just listen. Barnabas.
Yes, sir.
Do men always take sides with their mothers against their wives?
A lot of the time, yes.
Why is that?
Well, I think it's because even right from growing up, boys are usually closer to their mothers than they are to their fathers. So there is a kind of a bond between the son and his mom. And in some cases, there is some kind of competition between the mother and the wife. So
yeah, that was going to be my subsidiary question. There is this legendary notion of a difficult mother-in-law. That is usually the husband's mom, not the wife's mom. Why is it the mother-in-law is often problematic and not the father-in-law?
Yeah, because the competition is usually between the mother-in-law and the wife. They're
competing for
what
who? For the husband, for the son.
For the son, yeah, for the son, yes. So the mother wants to exercise her authority as I'm the mother of this boy, but then the wife also wants to say that you're no longer he doesn't belong to you anymore. He is now my husband, and then so we see a lot of contest in that space because the son is usually the point of attract, so rather the husband. So whether he is the one who has the money or he is the one who is the support in the house, so the mother wants her own attention and the wife also wants her own attention. So, but it's not like that with the fathers because the fathers are usually the father-in-laws are usually not even they are not very visible.
Okay, thank you. Let me see. Yes, what do you want to say?
I was just wondering if men feel like they can trust their mother's love. You know, your mother never leaves. Like no matter how bad you are, your mother will always.
The mother cannot divorce you.
Yeah, or your wife can get up and say, "Look, I'm fed up with you. Don't want to see your face anymore." You know. So I think that men do those kinds of very basic calculations and decide like, "Oh, let me keep my mom close." Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you, let me see. What is the relationship between a man's income and his self-esteem?
I think it's 100%.
100%.
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of friends who, when they have these gaps where their husbands are not working, they're just, they're like, God, please, God should just give him a job so that he can, his mood can improve. So if a man is not making money, then there's usually a problem with his self-esteem.
Is it a function of the attitude of his wife?
I don't think so. Honestly, I do. I think that men are meant to be, they're built to work. So if they're not working, I always wonder about those men that don't work. I always wonder what's gone wrong with them because men even tend to overwork, and then their wives complain that you're working too hard, you're not around, and all that. So the work is very important to them, so they will overdo it. And if that work does not exist and it is not giving them, they're not making money to provide for their families, then they become very difficult.
Okay, thank you. Samukwa.
Yes.
Does a woman ever have enough clothes and shoes?
Never. Never. They never have enough. Because when you take time to analyze everything that a woman thinks about, Yemisi said something earlier on about one of the most important things to a man being this respect thing. And from my own analysis over time, I find that what makes a man tick is completely different from what makes a woman tick. What makes a man tick is he desires respect. Maybe it's his ego or whatever, but that is what makes a man tick. A man without respect in his mind, he begins to ask the question, what kind of life am I living? What kind of life is this? A woman, on the other hand, what makes her tick is comfort. A woman in a circumstance without comfort begins to ask herself, what kind of life is this? Did I come here to suffer, blah, blah, blah. Those are the things that make the different specific people, male, female, makes them tick. So if you take time to examine a woman, you find that most of her concerns have, when you analyze everything, most of her concerns boil down to one thing, her appearance, and that is part of what makes her comfortable. So there is no way a woman is ever going to have enough clothes, enough, there will be the exception who have learned wisdom and prudence, and they don't see any reason why they should spend thousands of money on Ashwebi, because, they've learned better. There are the exceptions to that rule, definitely. And if, for example, you are aware of a book called Smart Money Woman by a lady called Arese Ubu. It was a very famous book a couple of years back. Now, it tells the story of how a certain lady moves from the typical lifestyle of an upwardly mobile young woman, learning about finances and prudence and so on and so forth. So there are those who having learned, will be the exception to the rule. But generally, women, clothes, shoes, bags, and everything that has to do with their appearance cannot be separated. And they can't have enough of it. I've actually heard of some situation in, I think it was one of my children's previous schools, where the husband gave the wife some money to go and pay for the school fees, and the wife went shopping with it for herself. It was,
and they are her children.
Yes,
Or
it was quite.
It
was her children. It was quite. I guess she must have felt the man, he has enough money, will bring some more, for whatever reason. But it was quite an issue,
Okay, thank you. Yemisi.
I just wondered if it's that we want men to look at us. That's why we spend so much.
No, I think women dress more for women than for men.
Okay.
A lot of the time, men are not taking notice of the fashion but the women know all the details. I mean, if a woman comes into a room and just stays for a minute and goes out, and you tell another woman to describe her, she would describe her better than the man. Because there were so many things she would have noticed in her appearance that the man would not have paid attention to. That is in her clothes. Comfort. So she's not here. Abigail, do men want women to serve them or to wait on them?
I pay attention. I think it's a factor of their ego or something. What it's part of their wanting respect. Yes, they do. Yes, I think they do.
Is it hard for a man to tell a woman that he's sorry?
It is. I think they would rather say it through their actions than in words. 80% of men would rather say they're sorry through their actions, buying flowers, and yes, they do find it difficult to say.
Thank you. One day.
Yes, sir.
Do men have a problem if their wives become fat?
I think so, but me, I've learned to love my own, and anyhow she is. I think so, but I love my wife.
Do women let themselves go once they get married? You know, there's a song they sing, Orukati don't wanna, once the Uruka, once they have gotten the Uruka, do they relax?
I think first and foremost, to be fair to them, I think giving birth, childbearing sometimes tells on them. So it's not really about them. And some of them kind of take control of it almost immediately because they are watchful. But some others might not be able to take care of it. There might not be any solution to it. And they just just allow themselves to be. And some of them look well with it. They now say, okay, I've tried my best. I tried to, but there's nothing, it's my nature because of childbirth and all that. And then they now just look happy with it. Because, for example, for me, my wife knows whatever happens, I would appreciate her for who she is and what she turns out to be. So because of that, she allows herself to be. So I can talk for myself. She allows herself to be. So with that, I think we're good. So whatever happens, yeah, she's mine and I'm hers.
Dr.
Yeah, I believe that a lot of men will not like their wife to put on more weight. In fact, this is one of those reasons I like some men.
But we can put on the weight.
Yeah, exactly. Men can put on the weight because they decide everything. They always believe that men can marry 2, 3, even though they are not talking about marrying second wife before. Maybe they are not. But the moment the woman becomes a little bit big and put on weight, they will now start to that's when they will now start looking for excuses. Or sometimes sometimes men feel that when they are big. I remember one of my friends used to say that, this your wife is getting too big. Do you think that he's not looking like your mother? Do you think that he's not looking like your big sister? So men tends to be like that, and that's why when some women notice that, they have to go extra mile to make sure that they exercise, then again, women too, some after they married, maybe after one or two, they don't know that the romance, when it comes to romance go all the way till whatever age. They have to be, they too must do one or two things to keep their shape. Keep their shape, so their husband, once they know their husband will not start looking at some small girls outside. It's just that's just the way it goes.
Thank you. Let me see, does the mother have greater rights to the children than the father?
No, she doesn't. She has greater responsibility, though.
Does the father have greater rights?
No, he doesn't.
Why do you say she has greater responsibility?
Because she does. Because she has how do you say, I just think that women have a better capacity than men for taking care of children. They have maternal instincts, they have intuition, they multitask, so they're just better built for it. Not saying that if a man has to take care of children, he can't, but women are they're the perfect fit for taking care of children, for bringing them up. You will find mothers who, they will pick up on something that's happening with their kids in dreams. So I just think that, if you have a better capacity, then you use it. Why not? And I think that maybe courts in this country will if there's a custodial battle, they only give children to the mothers because they believe that the mothers will take care of the children better, not because the mother has more rights. It's not really about that, because their interest is in the welfare of the child.
Okay, thank you. Festus, why are there more women in churches than men, except in healing wings? Is Festus with us? No, okay, let me give the question to Martins.
Yes, sir.
Why are there more women in churches than men, except in Healing Wings Chapel of Faith?
I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
There are two questions. One, why are there more women in churches than men?
Well, it could be that women are more attuned to seeking God. They are more spiritual than men. And so, and they rely more on God. And so you find them more in churches than men who tend to be more pragmatic. We feel that we can solve problems by ourselves. And so we rely more on our own strength than than women do.
Samukwa.
Okay, to add to what Martins has just said concerning why there are more women in church, I have found that in addition to what Martin says, many times, you see, women, most of the time, women, especially in our own environment, women look up to the men as breadwinner, sole provider for the family and this and that. And they know that if things are not going well in that chapter, in that area, it's going to affect them negatively and so on and so forth. And it brings all kinds of problems with it. Want, lack, struggling and so on and so forth, paying these bills, paying that fees, and even feeding the family and so on and so forth. And she's the one who is going to receive, 10 naira from a man who expects her to bring a king's feast to the table. And sometimes there are some men who don't even know what things cost in the market. And they will still be thinking that you can give a woman 20, 30,000 naira and she will feed the house for a month. It doesn't work that way. The women know this. They are faced with these challenges. So and being sensitive, in addition to what Martin said, they are the ones who are most likely to seek the face of God for solutions to these kinds of problems. While men, sometimes don't, they don't, like he says, they sometimes think that they've got everything under control, even when they know that they don't. So sometimes that's the reason why you find more women in church. Sometimes it is because, like I said, they are more, they have some kind of sensitivity that they instinctively feel that in the challenges that they face in terms of running a home, bringing up children, coping with their husbands, they probably think that they will find some strength in the church, because those challenges can be quite weighty for them. Now, as to the part of Accept Healing Wings.
Why does this not apply in Healing Wings?
I'm about to tell you, it's a very simple matter. Healing Wings is not a church. Healing Wings is a school of prophets. And historically, prophets have largely been men. So Healing Wings is not a church. If we think it is a church, we have made a mistake. That's my position.
All right, thank you. Let me ask the last question. Let me give the last question to Chuchu. Or it can go beyond Chuchu, but this is the last question. Several people can answer it. Chuchu, are you still with us? Do wives blackmail their husbands with sex?
Blackmail?
Yes.
I don't know about that. I don't even see the point, because there is a notion that men can easily get it outside. So I don't see that I don't see any blackmail anyway. I don't think so.
Okay, let me look for a man to ask. Let me look for a married man to ask. Sam, do women blackmail their husbands with sex?
Well, I am aware that some do. I'm aware that some do, because especially where they find that the sex is something that is important to that man, very important. So they can use it as leverage to get what they need or what they want at any given time. So they can use it. But that doesn't stop some men from reneging on what they have promised after they've gotten what they want, But I'm aware that some people, it happens to some people. I'm aware.
Yeah, me see.
Is it that they're blackmailing them, or is it that they don't want to have sex with them, or they don't? They
are changing my question. My question is about blackmail.
Yeah, no. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is this: women don't have that. They don't. Sometimes then, it's not blackmail. It's if a woman wants to have sex with you, she'll have sex with you. If she's blackmailing you, then she doesn't really want to. Is my point. So she's probably thinking,
no, she
okay,
wants something from you, and if you don't give it, she will not have sex with you.
I don't know. I don't know women who do that.
That's a blackmail. You may not know women who do it.
No, but I know a lot of married women. They don't. I don't know. I don't know married women that do that too. No. I mean, I know married women who their husbands are upset with them because they're tired. So those kinds of issues. But blackmail, I don't know.
Does any man want to add? Okay, one day.
I think EMC is just trying to be nice. The women do it all the time. The women do it all the time. I remember growing up, even we used to watch those soaps. Those women would have manipulated and planned witchcraft and everything. And in fact, there's some, is it what they call them now? Is it comics or those memes that they'll show the man begging like this, a very rich man and everything, begging almost on his knees, just to beg the woman, it's time now, please now let me out. So the women do it, and I think what it is they know how to manipulate. They know when the man needs it, or they know that some of them know how to wait for him. They know where to wait for him. So they might not show it at the initial point. If they show it from the beginning, then he won't tie himself with the rope. So sometimes they'll say they've forgiven him if things are happening. They'll now wait for him and hit him below the belt. So women do it all the time. They do it all the time. IMC cannot pretend not to know.
No, honestly, I don't. I mean, I would.
I don't believe a word IMC said.
We're in the presence of
does it anyway. I know my wife does it. I know my wife does it. I know my wife does it, and I know how to get her to. So it's too gay for.
Yes, IMC, you are saying we're in the presence of God. So you say
I mean, I won't be pretending here to be. I mean, this it's not that I'm surprised, but I am a little bit surprised because I'm thinking, okay, well, I didn't.
The fact that you don't do something doesn't mean that you might not know that it is done.
Well, to be honest, I don't, and I really don't know any. Maybe I don't discuss these sorts of things with other women enough, but I don't know women that honestly don't know any woman that does this thing. Don't. So it's news to me, Sha.
Anyway, pray for us. Let us close this meeting.
Me or
Yes.
Uncle Wendy?
You.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Father Lord, thank you for bringing us once again to these wonderful discussions about life, about you, about what you've created, about all the complexities, everything mixed together. Lord, we thank you for your wisdom, and we thank you for your presence. We thank you because whenever we are talking about you, about life, you are here. And Holy Spirit is guiding us, helping us to understand, giving us wisdom as well. We thank you for everyone here. We thank you for keeping us alive, for bringing us today, for providing for us, for keeping us safe. Lord, as we go today, we ask that you will go with us. Your presence will continue to be with us through everything. We thank you again, Lord Jesus, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Say to the righteous, you are the apple of God's eye, in Jesus' mighty name. Benedict.
You are the apple of God's eye.
At the apple of God's eye.
You are the apple.
Choo-choo, doctor.